Despite a rough outing from Merrill Kelly and some sloppy defensive play from the Arizona Diamondbacks, they came one run short of an amazing comeback there in the ninth inning. We have more on this loss, what it means for the Diamondbacks season, and of course, all the love for Ketel Marte. Of course, you are watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show, and we are starting in 30 seconds. Welcome in to another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast right here on PHNX. And you know we hate that music. You know when that music comes on, something bad has happened. And of course, that bad thing tonight is the Diamondbacks losing to the Miami Marlins by a score of 9-8. Glad to have you guys all here. Of course, we have our guy Damon Dog on the ones and twos, of course, supporting me. He's not very happy. I'm not happy. None of you are probably happy. But the Diamondbacks, of course, at least gave it a valiant fight there, despite the fact that Merrill Kelly did not have his best stuff tonight, and also despite the fact that this team played some extremely sloppy defense in this loss. Welcome in. Of course, this show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Go download the Bet365 app right now. Use our code of PHNX365. When you sign up, you'll get yourself some bonus bets, of course, for following a few easy steps, and then go over to Game Time. Get yourself some tickets to games like this one. And of course, you'll save $20 by using our code of PHNX on your first purchase. Glad to have you guys here. Emily Williams in the chat says, we lost, we should have won. And yeah, that definitely feels like how tonight goes, or how tonight went. The Diamondbacks, of course, lose this one by a score of 9-8, despite putting up a pretty good fight there in the ninth inning and looking like they were giving Ketel Marte, who it was kind of Ketel night a little bit. It was also Pride night at Chase Field. So a lot of cheering going on, a lot of happiness, but unfortunately the Diamondbacks come up just short in this one. This is their 40th loss of the season. They are now 41-40 on the year. Now, we've talked about this 10-game stretch. The Diamondbacks really have their backs against the wall here because with 2 games left in this 10-game stretch, they kind of have to win both of them in order to come out of this looking successful, even slightly. I know a lot of people, a lot of you out there might have had even higher expectations than the Diamondbacks finishing with 7 wins in this stretch, but still, this might be a little too little, a little too late. Of course, I don't know. There was some thought process here that maybe the Diamondbacks, with how screwed next season might just need to go all in at the trade deadline, regardless of where they're at. But tonight did not make any things any easier. I did want to accentuate the positive, though, before we get on to the loss stuff, because we have plenty of time to talk about how close this game came to being a win. But of course, I did want to give a shout out to all of the fans tonight that came out, not only for Pride Night to rock this amazing Pride jersey, which I absolutely love, but these shirts. I got myself some cool swag tonight. These Ketel is my MVP shirts. These were being given out by a group of fans. I think this originated with our guys over at Dbacks Dispatch, who were encouraging everybody to wear pink in support of Ketel tonight. And then that kind of went on to some other folks, including our guy Neil, who was the one who connected me. Thank you to Neil connecting me with this group. These were donated pink shirts, and I think we have a picture of the amazing group of people here. But we'll get that up for you there. Some drove out as far as from Yuma to be a part of this little get together, and basically 500 of these shirts were printed, and these fans were just giving them out over at Guy Fieri's prior to the game. It did not take very long for them all to be given away, so it was very cool. And like I said, some of these folks drove as far as from Yuma to be there tonight. So just wanted to give a shout out to this special group of people who just wanted to show their love to Ketel Marte in regards to, everything that happened. I feel like we're kind of past that incident. I think a lot of good has come out of it. Obviously, the money donated to Diamondbacks charities in regards to, or in the name of Ketel and his mother, that's been outstanding. I really want to say that I feel like the bigger takeaway from this whole thing is that some people hopefully spread the love of not being an awful person at sporting events a little bit, like spreading awareness a little bit there of not being a complete jerk when you go out and watch a baseball game. But the Dbacks did get plenty of offense in this one. This was more on their defense, and Merrill Kelly having just an unquestionably bad outing today. But their offense did get the Diamondbacks on the board early with an Alec Thomas sac fly RBI that scored Jake McCarthy. Jake did a lot of the lifting in that situation on his own. It's great to see Jake getting back into just being very productive for this team at a major league level. He walked, he stole second, he reached third on a wild pitch, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and then he scores on the Alec Thomas sac fly. So an excellent job of Jake McCarthy doing the thing that we used to see from this Diamondbacks team very, very often, and that was creating chaos, producing runs, finding ways to get runners in the scoring position, and then having things go their way a little bit like they did in that situation. But the Diamondbacks finally started to heat up in the fifth inning. It took them that long for their bats to really get going, but again, it was Jake McCarthy down 4-1 at that point in the game after an atrocious top of the fifth inning. He leads it off, led off the inning there at the bottom of the fifth with a solo home run, his first home run of the season. It was 110 miles per hour off the bat. It was 415 feet to right field, and it was just great to see Jake getting back into the swing of things. He really struggled early this season. He went down to Reno. He told Torrey when he left that he was going to go down to Reno and hit 400 again. And honestly, Jake did hit 400 for a stretch. Came back down to earth a little bit, but was still putting up pretty decent numbers there for the Reno Aces. With the injury to Corbin Carroll, he now gets this opportunity. And to be honest, both defensively and offensively, Jake McCarthy has been thriving. So it was a little frustrating to see him get taken out of the game. They're late to be pinch hit for by Randall Grichuk. However, again, Jake does whatever this team asks of him to do. And he kind of reminds me of Ryan Nelson, right? I said this the other day, but guys like Nelly, guys like Jake McCarthy that, maybe at one time were a big part of this team and then had their role diminished. In Ryan's case, not based on his performance, not based on merit, just based on other factors. Jake obviously struggled this year offensively to be sent down, but for him to come back now in the absence of Corbin Carroll and provide this team with a lift has been so good. And it's great to see Jake, again, taking advantage of this opportunity and doing what he did today was great, even in a limited capacity. Then later in the fifth inning with one out, Jose Herrera walked, and our guy, Jerry P, hits a 2-run pull shot to tie the game up at 4. Damon, I'm more mad that we got to see a Perdomo pull shot in this game and then the game didn't result in a win than I think I am about anything else here. Like, if Jerry P hits a ball into the pool, the outcome has to be that the Arizona Diamondbacks win. And I think you should throw yourself on camera because I think people should really see the state that you're currently in right now.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got a beer. This is what I walked into, folks. This is what I came into. Him just like this, sunglasses on. The hat was pulled down a little bit lower. I don't think there were tears. I think it might have just been sweat because once again, of how hot it can be in this building late at night. But we got Kevin in the chat making puns. Said Jerry pull shot.
Did Kevin watch tonight? Maybe that's why the Diamondbacks lost.
I mean, that's a very good question. Kevin is not in the state of Arizona right now, so I do feel like he's far enough away that he shouldn't be able to hurt this baseball team. But Kevin, answer the goddamn question. Did you watch this game or not? The whole game. He said he didn't watch. He didn't watch. All right.
Derek, Jerry P is just so impactful. Even in a loss, right? It's like this team, they needed a home run. What does this guy do? He hits it 400 feet into the pool.
ties the game up at 4.
9 home runs on the season for Geraldo.
He struggled there for a stretch. We were actually talking about it. Like there was a little injury with his finger that we think that might have been impacting him more than he was letting on. And we think that with several guys. Josh Naylor left today's game. We did get an update on him after the game. We did find out from Tori Lavello that Josh Naylor did leave this game with neck stiffness. Apparently he was experiencing that prior to the game. Now that neck stiffness could be tied in a way to that shoulder injury that he experienced. However, it is encouraging to hear that, well, I don't know. Is it encouraging to hear that it's not the shoulder?
Maybe he slept on it wrong. I don't know. Sometimes my neck's a little bit sore for a day because I slept on it wrong.
Damon, I am 44 years old. My neck hurts every single morning. Neck stiffness is just life for me.
You should go in the locker room and tell Josh next time you see him, just, hey, man, get over it.
Get over it, brother.
I'm in my 40s.
I'm not telling Josh anything. Speaking of being in my 40s and being in the clubhouse, I got to give a shout out to Randall Grichuk. He said the nicest thing to me that anybody has ever said, possibly, at least in the last 5 years. And that was, we were talking about our children, and I told him about my daughter being 14, and he looked at me straight face and said, there's no way you're old enough to have a 14-year-old.
Randy.
I love you so much, Randy. Oh.
What a sweet guy, man. That is a guy that is out for your heart in particular, Derek.
We
standle.
We standle. We standle Grichuk.
We standle Grichuk, man.
Oh, man. Back to, by the way, Geraldo Perdomo's home run there in the 5th inning. That game-tying homer marked the 41st time in Diamondbacks history that a ball was hit directly into the Chase Field pool by Dback. It was the 74th time overall. The last time it was done was by one Pavin Smith. Did so on April 9th versus the Baltimore Orioles in the 5th inning. So good stuff there, but not good stuff in the top of the 5th inning for this Diamondbacks team. In general, their play was very sloppy in this game. But that 5th inning, I mean, I think you come back around with where the Diamondbacks ended up. You come back around to falling just 1 run short. And it's so hard not to look at what happened in that 5th inning when this game started to really get away from them and blame it on the poor defense. 2 errors in the inning with 1 out. 1 error took place when Geraldo Perdomo threw a ball over to Josh Naylor, who missed the catch. And again, Josh Naylor was then removed, I believe, in the 6th inning after his at-bat. So, yeah, there was maybe a little bit of neck stiffness that resulted in him not making that catch. Of course, that missed catch was the error there. And then Kelly on the very next batter walked the next batter and then allowed a single to Xavier Edwards that I don't want to say that it was, like a completely botched play. It wasn't an error, but it looked like a very makeable play by Geraldo Perdomo there. And then that allows the bases to get loaded. With the bases loaded, Otto Lopez hits a comebacker to Merrill Kelly. And this is one of those moments where you could probably go break down the film and pick out a lot of mistakes that were made just in this one play. It seemed like Merrill Kelly might have had a play at home plate, but this happened very fast for me. And my memory sometimes is different from reality. Trust me. I do have revisionist memory at times. So things just tend to line up in the way that I want them to in my mind, not how they really happen. But it did seem like Merrill had a chance to make a play at home. Instead, he realized kind of in the moment that he didn't. And instead of just holding on to the ball and letting things fall the way they did and be unfortunate, he tried to make some sort of backwards throw over to first base that just went basically right in between first and second. It was just right out to the outfield. And that resulted in another run scoring. So that was just really where things went off the rails there for the Diamondbacks. And again, that wasn't the sole focus either. It just really felt like that was where a lot of unnecessary mistakes were made. A lot of what do we call it? This isn't Diamondbacks baseball, right? That's what we call it, non-Diamondbacks baseball. Cesar or Caesar, I don't know. You got to tell me, Caesar, if it's Caesar or Cesar.
It's Cesar.
I feel like it's Cesar. He said he tried to Jeter the throw, and instead Bartolo Coloned it. Yeah, exactly. You nailed it there on that one. But man, I'll tell you, this one, that was a frustrating, sloppy inning to play to watch. Like, everything didn't feel sharp. Everything felt like it was just a step too late, a throw too late, dropping the ball. And again, it really resulted in that being, some runs that scored that it just didn't seem like that inning should have even happened. It felt like if the Diamondbacks are playing Dbacks baseball, that inning is a 1-2-3 inning. Maybe one hit happens in that inning, but it really doesn't feel like like that is the way this game should have gone. But, I think Elise, a.k.a. Anxious Arizona Sports Fan now, says there in the chat, the fake comeback.
Yeah, YouTube's doing this thing right now. Not sure how I feel about it. And for the sake of our show, bad news.
Yeah.
Because it's like some of these people have different names. I think Elise just changed hers, where at first it was just @Anxious AZ Sports Fan. It's like, that's too confusing for us.
How am I supposed to know her? How am I supposed to know her like that? It's Elise, known baseball GM, a.k.a. Mike Hazen. And she says it there again. The fake comeback is frustrating. And yeah, I do think that probably made things even worse a little bit. The Diamondbacks were able to load the bases and plate 3 runs in the 9th inning, bringing this game from what at one point felt like it was very far away to being very close. And I think, again, before we move on too fast, it's frustrating that obviously the bullpen that has been good at times wasn't able once again to perform well when the Diamondbacks really needed them. And that's what they needed tonight. They needed to hold this lead as close as they could. And unfortunately, tonight it was 4 earned runs allowed by the bullpen, which of course did not make this comeback any easier and makes it even more frustrating that the team was able to put up 8 total runs and fall just 1 run short there. And when I say 1 run short, man, that was an exciting 9th inning. Randall Grichuk, a.k.a. Standel gets on with a single, and then Alec Thomas reaches on a fielder's error. Fielder's choice, Randall Grichuk to second, and then the fielding error there by Otto Lopez allows Alec Thomas to be on first and second. Jose Herrera singles, and that loads the bases. Now we have Geraldo Perdomo take a very good at bat. He walks in 1 run, and then you have Ketel Marte in the biggest moment of the game. Now, I have speculated on something. I just kind of, I just made this up. I won't lie. I just made this up in my mind. But I will say I feel like it tracks in watching Ketel Marte's at bats tonight. I feel like when Marte is laid back, when he's just playing baseball and being himself, he's an excellent baseball player, including very clutch. He comes up clutch. He comes up with big hits and big moments. It's not like he shrinks or fades away when the spotlight is at its brightest. However, tonight, in watching every single one of his at-bats, it looked like Ketel Marte was trying to hit a home run for the crowd. It felt like every time he got a standing ovation, it felt like every time he saw that love, saw that support in his first at bat, the ovation was amazing by the crowd. He gave a tip of the cap. Obviously, it was on his mind. It was hard not to have it be on your mind, considering the ovation that the crowd was giving you every time you came up. But it really did feel like, he was just trying to hit 3 home runs in 1 at bat every time he was up there. And of course, this moment felt bigger than any of the others tonight. And it did really feel like we were about to see a storybook moment, and it ended very abruptly with Marte getting called out on strikes. That was the first out of the inning. Then we have Pavin Smith come up with a huge single RBI. It scores 2, allows Perdomo to reach third, and this is just with 1 out.
I have to talk about that Pavin thing for a second, Derek, because in the studio full disclosure, we rewinded back about 10 seconds, right? And so we were not live, and Pavin did that check swing where he fouled it off with 2-0 in that situation. And I know Elise was thinking the same thing. Like, get Pavin Smith off this team immediately. And I was like, that is an inexcusable swing on 2-0. And then the next pitch, obviously he had already hit the single. Thankfully, I didn't send my tweet off because it would have been pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I came in a little bit ahead.
You saved me.
I saved you
because I had it typed out.
We're trying to play this whole thing as best as we can around here. So again, in the name of transparency on this show, I did leave the ballpark before this ninth inning happened. Not the top of the ninth, the bottom half. Things were bad. Things looked bleak. I left. So then all this stuff happened, and I felt like I had made a huge mistake because I instantly started realizing that my garage parking pass does not work if I decide to turn around and drive back to Chase Field. They will not let me back in the garage, no matter how much I ask them to.
It's a one-way.
They didn't want to let me out tonight. That was a problem in the garage too. They wanted to make me go right, and I need to go left when I leave the garage. So that's a big deal.
And you know you don't want to get in Derek's way when he knows exactly what he's doing. He does it all the time.
Let me go left. I need to go left. My office is on 7th Street. It's not on Central. I can't go that way.
That's when Derek gets nasty.
Oh, you're not wrong.
You should have seen him when Panda Express didn't accept his gift cards.
It is free at Friday, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Panda Express, you're on the list because you decided to make your location in downtown Phoenix not accessible to gift cards because it's on the campus of ASU, which I would argue very much it is not. I would argue very much it's not on the campus of ASU. It's on Taylor. It's on the street. It's out here for regular folks to come out and get. Someone gave me a thumbs down for the bashing of Panda Express, so I'll stop that. Emily Williams says, leaving the game, you jinx the Diamondbacks. No, actually, I would offer the counter. I would counter offer that. I would say that the Diamondbacks started having a great amount of success once I left that building. So maybe, just maybe, I should leave that building all the time. I don't know. But Diamondbacks did fall short there. Very anticlimactic with Tim Tawa hitting into the double play, which allowed most of you here in the chat to scream nasty things about him and say you want him off your baseball team. Let's not forget that Tim Tawa has been extremely useful for this team. He has been everything we hoped and wished Jordan Lawler was, and he was everything that we hoped and wish other guys were that weren't named Kevin Newman. So again, I definitely feel like we can't completely villainize Tim Tawa here. It was a big moment. He fell short. It's really upsetting though to hit into the double play and the game. Gabriel Ferrer in the chat says not sending Blaze is managerial malpractice. Yeah, I mean, again, being more aggressive is something that this team needs to be, and I feel like they're gun shy about it. I feel like some mistakes have been made in the past, and it's caused Torrey to be a bit more, I don't know, conservative, and that's where we end up with something like that. Like you said, the base running has not been good for the team this year, and that continued tonight. But yeah, they come up a little bit short here at the end. Maze Devil says 175 in June, man. I need a little bit more than that. Do you know what he's referring to in regards to the batting average? I'm guessing he's meaning Tim Tawa is probably what he's meaning. Yeah, and I mean, again,
yeah, I believe so.
He's not doing great, but a couple of other guys haven't been doing great. And again, tonight, the offensive performances weren't outstanding, but we got to give credit to a couple of guys. Geraldo Perdomo with his home run. He was 1 for 3 tonight, 3 RBI, 2 big walks. Again, Perdomo will find a way to get on base, and that's what he does for this team. You got Jake McCarthy. Again, he had himself a great night. And then Gino Suarez. Gino, 2 for 4 tonight, 2 singles. But of all those guys, we're going to go ahead and give our King Snake to Jake McCarthy. Jake deserves it, even though he was pulled early from this one. I don't know if leaving Jake in the game might have been a little bit of a key there. That's an incredible photo, by the way, that you have there. That's one of the coolest photos I think I've seen us use for King Snake. 1 for 1 tonight with a walk, a stolen base, a home run, 2 runs scored, and 1 RBI. So great night here from Jake McCarthy. Again, Josh Naylor.
He did a hook shot.
Did a little hook shot.
I mean,
there.
most of the time they're just doing a simple jumper.
They're just doing a jumper, right?
Maybe a fadeaway if it's Perdomo and he's feeling a little swaggy, but a hook shot is something new.
Oof.
I mean, Jake McCarthy, not shocking that's what part of his game.
No, he's high
IQ player.
High IQ player, Dat Master, by the way.
Lunch pail guy.
Yo, big time lunch pail guy. Well, we are going to talk more about Merrill Kelly and his terrible outing today, as well as the bullpen really not giving this team a chance to come back late. We're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, Damon's covering up his eyes. I need myself a good pair of sunglasses. You do too, because of course summer is here, and it's not. You just can't live in Arizona without good sunglasses. I don't know what to tell you. Things we need: air conditioning, sunglasses, cold drinks. I'd say beers, but I'll leave it up to water. But you definitely need those sunglasses, that's for sure. Get yourself a quality pair of shades from our friends at Shady Rays. Not only are their sunglasses as high quality as the more expensive brands, but they also have the craziest lost and broken replacement plan in all of eyewear. We know you lose your glasses. I lose my glasses. We all lose our glasses. If you lose your Shady Rays, there will be no questions asked. You can get another pair sent out to you, and you don't even have to explain what you did. Of course, you can also order your Shady Rays online. If you don't love them, you can exchange them and return them for free within 30 days. Shady Rays customer service team has your back long after the purchase. And make sure to check out the wonderful options they have on their crystal clear optics. Every pair of sunglasses comes with polarized lenses, but of course, you can also get those upgraded, and they have those color rush lenses that are even more incredible. So check out the entire line that Shady Rays has to offer. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades, rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Shout out Steven Bananas for taking advantage of the Shady Rays lost and broken replacement policy.
Nice, yes.
Unbelievable.
Again, I feel guilty every time I have to do it, but unfortunately, sometimes we make mistakes in life, and Shady Rays has your back. So good job. Good job. Speaking of having your back, Vimy has your back, because Vimy is going to allow you to finally make those bets with Damon and not have to worry about which one of you is going to hold on to the money. And of course, all sorts of betting can go on Vimy. You can bet for money. You can bet for fun. You can do one-on-one, just me versus Damon, or we can do the entire office. It's a great way to handle things like poker night, video game gambling. Of course, you can also get down on fantasy sports, which is a great way for all of your team, all of your GMs in your fantasy football league to all chip in and have your money in one place. You don't have to go hunting people down. Don't have to be the Venmo guy. Can do it all on Vimy. And of course, you also have bragging rights as well. So download the Vimy app and play today using code PHNX. Available on the App Store and Google Play. Vimy, anyone, anything, anytime. We got records on Vimy, by the way. We got stats. Bragging. When I say bragging rights, I just mean you literally can pull up the app and be like, let's take a look at how many times I beat you. Just saying. All right. Well, we got Merrill Kelly here tonight. His velocity was up. His changeup was looking good early, but that was until it wasn't. He hung 2 changeups there in the 4th inning and got tagged on another one, and that's when the Marlins started chipping their way back into the game. They put up 2 runs in the 4th, 2 runs in the 5th, 2 runs in the 6th. Essentially, Merrill was not able to make it out of the 6th inning. He wasn't even able to get 1 out of the 6th inning. After the game, Torey Lovullo admitted that he probably shouldn't have put Merrill back out there, considering I believe he was already at 87 pitches going into that 6th inning. He did give up the home run immediately, and then that was a wrap for his night. And I don't know. I mean, I'm concerned. I have my concerns about Merrill. His last 2 outings haven't been great, and honestly, with the way that Zach Gallen and Brandon Pfaadt have both been so inconsistent, it really does feel like the Diamondbacks need Merrill Kelly now more than ever. A lot of credit towards Eduardo Rodriguez for stepping up right now during this time and giving the Diamondbacks that extra performance, because without Erod and without Ryan Nelson pitching the way that they are, this starting pitching rotation would be in shambles right now. Shambles. And if the Diamondbacks had to find another starting pitcher without having Ryan Nelson, I don't know who that person would be. I really don't. Honestly, it could be Disclafani. That's literally where we could be at, where if the Diamondbacks were in an emergency situation, that might be their next starting pitcher up. It could explain the reason why they added him to the roster. But Merrill Kelly tonight just was not very good. He had a disengagement violation. It was just a very uncharacteristic night for Merrill Kelly, to be honest. 88 pitches thrown, only 55 for strikes. And again, once he started hanging that changeup and not getting it to where he wanted it to be, started landing in the zone right in the middle, 89 miles per hour, right down the pipe. It wasn't good. It wasn't good for Merrill Kelly. He goes 5 innings tonight, gives up 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them are earned, and maybe honestly more should be earned, but 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. So that was probably the highlight of his outing, is the fact that Merrill was able to go out there and get 7K with only throwing 55 strikes out of the 88 pitches he threw. But that's enough to kick on the Circle K strikeout meter. And that thing was active at Chase Field tonight. So might as well have it be active here tonight. A lot of seawater used for the strikeout meter. A lot of resources used to power that thing up. So we want to make sure it's at least 5 or more. But anyway, just overall poor performance from the pitching staff tonight. Juan Murillo was not very crisp. He gave up 2 hits and an earned run in his inning of work. And Taylor Scott, again, not a great outing for him. In 2 innings, he gave up 5 hits, 3 earned runs. He did strike out 3, but 2 of those home runs, 2 home runs off of Taylor Scott tonight for those 3 earned runs. I want to give flowers to the guy that deserves them. The only pitcher tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks that deserves his flowers, Kevin Ginkel.
Is Ginkel back?
Ginkel might be back. Ginkel may have saw the podcast that Johnny did. Ginkel may have heard Bo Brock's insults and calling him Stinkle, because Ginkel tonight, he just looked outstanding. 3 strikeouts in 1 inning of work. Like it was the Kevin Ginkel of old. I don't know.
It is insane when I say things like, is Kevin Ginkel back? And then he has a 10.69 ERA on the season.
Yeah. No. Good point. And Anthony makes a great point in the chat. I don't know. Everybody's name is different, Anthony. So I apologize if this is somebody that we normally know. I feel like Anthony is new around here. But Anthony asks, why did we not steal in the bottom of the 9th during the 1st and 3rd situation? You know, the old defensive indifference thing where that runner, that happens to the Diamondbacks all the time. And then that guy comes around to score a very important run that later in the game ends up being very important. Yeah, that's that I'm wondering that too. That's a really good point. Elise says Stinkle is gone and Standal is here. Yep, you're right. We can only have one. Queefy says, what is with Scott relief pitchers? I don't even know if I'm allowed to say your name. To be honest.
I mean, it's not in the band words that they told us.
It's not a band word, but I feel
it's not in like the 7 that they told us.
Well, anyway, this was just, again, I criticize the offense, but I don't feel like I should say that this was on the offense in any way, shape, or form. The Diamondbacks mustered up 8 runs in this one. This is pretty much just comes down to that 5th inning being awful for Merrill Kelly and this team. And again, those 2 runs, I know it's just 2 of the runs that scored tonight, but those 2 runs end up giving the Marlins the win. I never know what the alternate timeline looks like if they don't score those runs, right? We don't know. But it feels like that if you want to pinpoint a moment in the game where runs scored that really shouldn't have, it was that 5th inning, and Merrill Kelly was a huge reason why that ended up happening. Again, though, the bullpen did not do anything to help this team out tonight by holding it close. If they don't give up those 4 earned runs, again, there is the other route to the Diamondbacks victory, is if the bullpen can actually hold this Miami Marlins team, who honestly, you take a look at some of their numbers for the season, and the Marlins, obviously they're not a great team, but all of their stats kind of fall there in the middle of the pack a little bit there. You got a 700 OPS, which is good for 18th. You got -3 outs above average, which is -17th. But it's really the starting pitching. Yuri Perez and he's very tall, by the way, very tall. Didn't realize he was as tall as he was. He did an excellent job.
He's a giant.
He's a giant. Actually, no, he's a Marlin. That's
damn.
Yeah.
I guess
he's a Marlin.
I didn't realize that tonight.
Yeah, that's the way that works. But he wasn't perfect. Their starting pitching, once again, didn't go very deep. But their bullpen really did a good job. I mean, again, outside of that 9th inning, the bullpen kind of holds Diamondbacks to just 2 earned runs. And then, again, they're late. And the Diamondbacks go up against Phillips, they're able to do what they did against Tyler Phillips, but just comes up a little bit short. Are you guys still laughing about? What are you giggling about? Damon's been giggling for 5 straight minutes. 5 straight minutes. Elise wants to know if we can trade for Yuri. Funny thing, Elise. He says, will they take another random prospect from us for a good young pitcher? This was the exact conversation Jesse Friedman and I were having in the press box tonight. And Jesse wanted to know what the Marlins' thoughts were on Jordan Lawler, because he would very much like Yuri Perez for sure. But again, this one, pitching staff, not a great night for the Diamondbacks pitching staff.
Jesse
overall,
said that?
He just wanted to know. He was just curious.
Wow.
I don't know if he was ready to trade Jordan Lawler.
That's one of those Jesse like low-key opinions that he doesn't want to put out there.
Yeah, no, but I can do that now because he's not on this show to defend himself. So I can just tell people all this stuff. And he's not going to watch
this deep into the show either.
Oh, definitely not. He's not a fan of the host of this show. I know for a fact. But anyway, that's all we got on the pitching staff and this game. I guess we will talk about the numbers a little bit more, but all of this makes me sad. And most importantly, I just want to celebrate the fact that the Diamondbacks aren't going anywhere. I have job security, and they're here to make me miserable like this game did for a very long time. So that's exciting for all of us. But we'll recap the numbers in this one, take a look at the NL West, and talk about that bill getting passed. All of that, we'll do that before we get out of here. So don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Well, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of Ryan Reynolds. You could say that I love Ryan Reynolds, and I probably wouldn't disagree with you or argue with you in regards to that at all. But I love Ryan Reynolds for more than just his good looks and his acting in the Deadpool films. I love him for bringing us Mint Mobile, because right now, during the summer, things are very expensive for us in Arizona. Our air conditioning bills couldn't be higher. A lot of things are going bad. I heard gas is going to get very high. So we need to do everything we can to save money. And the fine folks at Mint Mobile and Ryan Reynolds want to save you some money. With Mint, you can get the coverage and speed you're used to, but for way less money. For a limited time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for just $15 a month. So while your friends are sweating over their data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chilling, literally and financially, with our friends at Mint Mobile. Ditch your overpriced wireless plan, and of course, bring over your phone number, your contacts, all that stuff stays the same. The only thing that changes is that you will get 3 months of unlimited service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. Of course, this year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer in your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Diamondbacks. That's mintmobile.com/Diamondbacks. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Well, and speaking of those energy costs, as you know, more than 50% of your energy costs come from cooling and heating your home. And we know it's not heating in this state. We know it's cooling. And of course, smart thermostats can work with your APS bill to maximize comfort and convenience while minimizing your energy costs. If you don't have a smart thermostat, APS wants to help you get one right now. If you're on an APS time of use plan, you can use your smartphone or device to automatically adjust a smart thermostat and take advantage of lower cost off-peak hours. APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats for as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. I am a Cool Rewards member, and they give me all sorts of wonderful benefits, including days where I just get money off on my bill for just participating in a little bit of a higher temperature and trying to lower the I guess stress on the grid. So check out everything that they have to offer over at APS Marketplace. You can find instant rebates, discounts, and special offers on smart thermostats, energy efficient appliances, and more at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer and pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for information. Damon, do we got some super chats on there?
Yeah, we got a couple, Derek.
What do we got?
Let's rip them real quick. We got Steven Bananas saying, came in to say I love you all. Sorry we stink, and I look forward to seeing you all at the pool. If you and Damon want a signed album of mine, let me know. Future rock star,
Steven Bananas,
rock superstar.
Well, hold on. We
he
need
is
to
a
talk.
rock star.
We need to talk about this. We need to talk about this because Steven Bananas sent us a song that this was on our Die Hard show. We were celebrating our diehards, and we wanted to celebrate the fine talents of one Steven Bananas. And then what happened on Monday, Damon? We got hit with a copyright infringement on his song. And I feel like it was Steven Bananas doing it to us.
For sure.
I mean, it might have been the label.
That was
it might have been the big label, but we definitely got hit with a copyright infringement after playing his music. So I just want to throw that out there.
Galaxy brain move from Steven there.
It was we were playing checkers and he's playing chess.
Absolutely. And
I get it.
We got BCSC 4 straight. This team has no alignment like Brian Gregory's Suns.
They are very
Check out
aligned.
our aligned shirt that we have
aligned.
That we just dropped on Go PHNX locker.
Oh no,
and
BCSC's talking ball.
I'm zooted like Snoop.
Well, that's not talking ball, but this next one's talking ball.
Next one, Merrill just pissed me off. No more big body Merrill.
No more big body Merrill.
Bounce back. And then says, tell Noah I'm married to Satu Sabali. Sorry, ring incoming. That BCSC ain't wrong.
Right.
These Merc are special.
They are special.
Go check out what Erica Day and Steven Pridgeon Gardner have going on.
For 3-pointers after setting a franchise record for 3-pointers?
Against the Liberty? Against the reigning champs?
Can't be stopped. They can't be stopped.
Unbelievable team, the Phoenix Mercury. And then BCSC. Is this permanent, LOL? What is YouTube on with the smoke emoji?
Yeah, I think that's about the ats, right?
It is,
the ats up there. We don't like the ats.
Anger.
We don't like that. We want to call you by the name you want to be called by, not your not whatever you made up when you decided to join YouTube. I mean, some idiots call themselves Captain Caveman on Twitter and then have to live with that moniker for the rest of their career, Damon. 16 years later, I'm still getting called Captain Caveman by people in public. More importantly, by members of the media that I think don't even know my real name and just call me Captain Caveman because it's all they can think of off the top of their head. All right, let's take a look at the numbers from tonight's game presented by our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. Of course, those folks got me started on my home ownership journey, and I look very, very much, I'm looking forward to going home and sleeping because I'm very tired after this game. But Diamondbacks, of course, fall just 1 run short. Marlins win this one by a score of 9-8. They out-hit the Diamondbacks 13-8. Runners in scoring position, they had far more opportunities. They were 4 for 11 for a .364 batting average with runners in scoring position. Diamondbacks, meanwhile, were 2 for 5. So not bad, just not a lot of opportunity. I think this is the big defining factor in this one. 8 extra base hits for the Marlins to just 3 for the Diamondbacks. And those 3 for the Dbacks, all home runs. Every single one of them. No other extra base hit for the Diamondbacks here outside of those homers. Meanwhile, the Marlins had, I think it was 3 doubles, a triple, and then 3 home runs of their own. Maybe even 4. I might have lost count at one point because they have a lot. They have, 4 doubles, 1 triple, and then the 3 home runs. So a lot of extra base hits there. And then expected batting average, very similar there for both teams. Diamondbacks actually had a better expected batting average at 278 to the Marlins 257. And the reason why is because the Marlins were able to take advantage of those defensive mistakes by the Diamondbacks, especially there in the 5th inning. And that's the big difference maker in this game. Not to mention the fact that the Diamondbacks just really weren't. They had plenty of hits, 8 hits. They did get out hit 13-8, but they really weren't getting any of those extra base hits, getting runners in scoring position. Jake McCarthy did a fine job of that in his instance of getting on base and getting over. But outside of that, not a lot of runners outside of the 9th inning, not a lot of offense, quite frankly, outside of the 5th and the 9th inning. So that's where the Diamondbacks stand. Well, let's see where they certainly currently sit in the the drunken orgy of violence known as the NL West. Diamondbacks, where are we at on that? I don't even know.
Are at on this.
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, it's
number 4. We're 4th place in the NL West.
There we go. Officially double digits back in the division, which I want to be. I feel like I want to be more dramatic about that.
I hate them so much. Every time I put this graphic together, especially in the last 2 weeks, and I just have to, make this gap bigger for the Los Angeles Dodgers. It feels personal.
I mean, it's happening to all of us too. Like all the teams are drifting farther and farther back. There was a point where the Giants were first in the NL West. There was a time where all 3 of these teams felt like they were just a game and a half to 2 games apart.
I'm not sure the Dodgers have lost a game since the Giants tied them for first place.
That's crazy.
Like, it feels like they've gone like 15-0 since then.
The only positive thing here, besides the fact that the Rockies are doing so much worse than we are, that you could just sit there and look at the Rockies and think, well, at least we could be rooting for that team. At least we could be putting our hopes and dreams into that franchise. Is that 3.5 number right there on the side? That 3.5 number is the only thing that matters to me right now. It's the only thing that should matter to you. The only thing that matters to this franchise. The Diamondbacks need to keep that number at 3.5 or make it smaller. 2.5, 1.5, half a game back. That's the only path to success that the Diamondbacks have left in this season. You can just kiss this division goodbye. There's no reason, not to say that we ever were thinking with how far the Diamondbacks have been back in the division with all of these injuries that they've experienced this year, that they were going to actually compete for the division. But at this point, that's it. That wild card, once that number starts growing and getting to 5.5 and 6.5, it's a wrap. And I hate to be so negative, but if it does get to that point, if we do start to get into that territory where the Atlanta Braves currently are at, 7 games, 8 games back, it's a wrap. And again, I don't know what course of action the front office and Mike Hazen decides to take, but I mean, I feel like it still feels very reactionary to do it just based on how they play over the next 2 weeks. It still doesn't feel like that's enough to truly make you determine if this team can be a contender, you know, and honestly, they've hovered around 500 baseball entirely too much this season to make me believe that they're anything other than that. That's really how I feel, right? So I don't really know, but I will say that this series with the Giants that we are going to have our pool party takeover at is growing to be more and more important. It's a 4-game series with the Giants, and I really feel like that's, I mean, almost a playoff level of series for the Diamondbacks season this year. Not for the Giants, but for the Diamondbacks. And I mean, it would be understandable if they have a poor showing in that series to start thinking about being sellers rather than buyers at the trade deadline. But they still have 2 games here against the Marlins, and these 2 games are also very important because getting beat by the Marlins, losing a series to the Marlins when your season is kind of hanging in the balance seems like a pretty negative thing.
It feels extra bad.
It feels extra bad.
Yeah, every loss hurts double. Brandon here makes a good point, though. Who's going to the pool takeover?
Who is going to the pool takeover? I know my guy, my guy Steven Bananas is showing up with his guitar and an amp. He's going to play music for us the entire time. He also wants nobody to be in the pool.
Demand monetization fees.
Yo, totally. He's going to copyright all of us. I know Candace isn't coming, and that's a huge disappointment. And I'm like, honestly, like, you've let us all down. I'm just saying that.
Well, some of us love this show.
Yeah, some of us love ball, and some of us love this team. But of course, if you want to come join us for the takeover, make sure to do so July 3rd, 6:40 p.m. Not Shane's birthday party. This is not Shane's. I'm telling you right now, Shane will be there.
If you bring Shane a present, you're getting thrown in the pool.
If you give him a card, I will personally escort you out. If you bring a Mylar balloon, I will pop it. I swear to God. The only streamers that will be thrown will be for me after I perform pro wrestling moves into the pool. That's it. Not for Shane at all. But make sure to join us. You can get your tickets for that over at gophnx.com/events, I believe. And make sure, of course, to have a good time. Come out. Food is on us, on the Diamondbacks, but on us. Bring drinks, non-alcoholic drinks on us, and get that towel. Bring that towel home with you. Well, we're going to try to turn things around and make things a little bit more positive before we get out of here. And we're going to do that by discussing, of course, the big news that Governor Katie Hobbs, Mayor Derek Montilla to Governor Katie Hobbs, that she finally signed HB 2704. It's official. It's done. The Diamondbacks are not going anywhere. They are going to play baseball right here in the Valley for a very long time. And that's very good news, at least if you have a job covering this baseball team. So don't you go anywhere. We're also going to do a free ad Friday thing where we're going to give away a free ad and infuriate Max. So don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Of course, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. It's obviously never ordinary when you watch an Arizona Diamondbacks game, but you can use Bet365 in combination with Diamondbacks games to have a great time. Of course, live in-game betting is the place to be, and Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting. They also offer the widest range of games and markets available across 78 sports for live in-game betting. So get down on it, especially when you're watching a Dbacks game. You can get down on the MLB early payout offer. Nothing you have to do. You just bet on your team to win, and if your team goes up by 5 runs or more, you are a winner with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections, regardless of the outcome of the game. Of course, if you are a new user, get down on the offer for new customers where you can receive $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use our code of PHNX365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to receive $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Those bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. And let me tell you, when you win that money, when you have that money, a great way for you to figure out how to reach your financial goals is with Monarch Money. Monarch Money isn't just your average budgeting app. It is a complete financial tool for your accounts, investments, and goals. And it's a complete financial command center for all of this stuff. You can see all of your financial information in one place. It allows you to track your investment. It allows you to track your spending. And most importantly, allows you to set goals for yourself that you can reach. And let me tell you, Monarch has no problem telling you when you've been spending too much. They kind of wag their little digital finger at you, and you kind of love them for it, because it is the way to stay on track to reach your financial goals and dreams. And we all need that help in life. Not to mention, it's very easy to lose track of all of the accounts, reoccurring streaming accounts, all of that stuff that you're spending money on. So check out Monarch Money right now. Get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use our code of PHNX at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code PHNX. All right, y'all. Well, like I said, today was a big day for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And of course, we know that this whole situation with the House bill, I don't want to say SB, I want to say HB 2704, has been an ongoing saga for a very long time. So I want to get this all straight for everybody. We kind of sent this out from the account, but today was a big day because Governor Katie Hobbs finally signed HB 2704, thus finalizing the bill and allowing the Diamondbacks to receive the funds that they need to improve Chase Field over the next 30 years. Now, the $1.2 billion subsidy that we've been talking about is the overall projected cost of the project. That is how much it is going to take to renovate Chase Field. Now, with HB 2704, it allows the Diamondbacks to recapture sales tax from Chase Field on tickets, food, merchandise, all the stuff that we go to Chase Field to spend money on. Now, I want to say that people almost robotically want to shout at the idea of a sports team getting taxes to pay for anything. And I understand that. And I know that even some of you that love this team might feel that way in the chat. But again, the one thing I implore people to remember here is that this isn't just about the Diamondbacks getting this money or not getting this money. It's not about the Diamondbacks having taxpayers fund a billionaire's, a little plaything in a baseball team. This is a situation where the Maricopa County Stadium, what is it called? The Stadium Fund or Stadium Group have owned Chase Field since its inception. So Maricopa County has always owned Chase Field. And the money that the Diamondbacks put into Chase Field is very similar to you renting an apartment and fixing the apartment up yourself, right? Adding stuff, fixing things, not having your landlord or the leasing office or whoever that is in charge of your apartment complex pay for it. You yourself do. And the Diamondbacks have done that over time. But there comes a point where the building itself, the infrastructure inside the building, it needs updating, and it needs updating bad. We all we all understand that. And I think that that's something people have talked about, the way sections of the ballpark smells. We know about the ongoing saga for years about or not years, but significant period of time not being able to open the roof while fans were in the ballpark due to a safety hazard. We also know that the air conditioning absolutely sucks. And not to mention the fact that Chase Field constantly in polls and in articles gets put down as being one of the worst baseball stadiums in baseball. In fact, in MLB. In fact, the other day, like I said, it got voted just one spot above Rate Field for the second to worst ballpark in MLB. So what this does is it recaptures that tax money and it puts $500 million of that tax money over the next 30 years towards this, I guess upkeep, this renovation of Chase Field. However, there's another $700 million that is going to come from the Diamondbacks, who have committed at least 250 plus, and private funding that is going to make up the additional amount of money, which is $700 million, right? So the one thing to keep in mind with this is that, one, Maricopa owns the building. So if the Diamondbacks leave, Chase Field is still there, and they're left holding the bag. Not only do they not have another baseball team to play in that stadium, but most likely it's going to result in Chase Field eventually just getting torn down and the land being sold for office buildings or apartments or whatever they would put in its place there at Chase Field. But the other thing to remember here is that the taxes that are being used are taxes from people who only go to Chase Field to watch this team and spend money on this team. So that is
the Coyotes thing all over again.
But it exactly, and it works.
Except this time it passed.
It passed, and it makes sense, and people aren't so against it. People, I mean, at least maybe if Chase Field was a trash heap, maybe then they wouldn't have wanted to pass it.
I'd rather
maybe they would have
pay
wanted
for
to keep
removing
the dump.
this dump than get let 10% of the tax revenue that would only be made if this place existed be given to them.
That's what's crazy is there are people that are still mad that funds, that taxes are being reallocated, right, for this renovation rather than them going to where they originally went, which is very important city services, fire department, police, education, all of that stuff. I get it. I understand. But the Diamondbacks lease is up in 2027. And if this team leaves, then all of that money goes away anyway. And that is something to very much remember. You're getting a smaller cut, but you're still getting something. Whereas if the Diamondbacks leave, eventually there might be a one-time sale of that land. But eventually the ongoing income from that facility and that land is going away. So this is a very good thing. Diamondbacks are staying here. And I obviously, like I said, have a vested interest in it. So that's really good. But it also means that the Diamondbacks are going to stay in the Valley. This long-term commits that the Diamondbacks will extend the lease through 2056. So hopefully I'll be dead by the time that lease comes up and I won't have to deal with this again. That's at least one hopeful thought, but probably a little dark. I might have leaned a little dark there. Before we do get out of here, I did want to give you guys Free Ad Friday plug for my guy Megaran. For those of you that may not know, Megaran has been making
a very special Free Ad Friday.
Yeah.
This one hits a little close to home for Derek.
This one's our guy. This one's our Mailbag Monday guy, right? One of my best friends in the whole wide world, Raheem Jarbo, aka Megaran, just released today a brand new album. He got himself. We know that he came out with Buddy's. It was Buddy's Magic Toy Box last time for my godson. Now this time it's Buddy's Magic Treehouse. It is out today. It is available, and it is good children's music that adults can listen to. So your kids will love it. You will love it. And there's no reason why, if you have young children, that you shouldn't go check this out, because we all know children's music can be awful. So Megaran out there doing the Lord's work, making good children's music for parents to listen to. So there's my positive spin before we get out of here. Diamondback's going to be here for a long time. Let's go. A round of applause for everybody. But hey, we thank you guys so much.
We're gonna start doing that. We're gonna start adding some sound effects to this show. I wanna get a bruh button.
We need a bruv button.
Bruh.
I need bruv like
an English guy saying it.
Yeah. I
sure.
need that. I also I need the glockenspiel more in my life. That's just something that I absolutely need.
What do you need?
I need a little glockenspiel, Damon. There it is. It's never not delightful. Emily wants me to update the Dbacks jersey list. Emily, I promise I'm getting on that. I got a lot of stuff to do. but I'm gonna get it for you. I'm glad Ocean. I'm glad Jay Cuddy knew that one was from Osprey. Thank you so much, good old bruv from Osprey. But we love you guys. We thank you for your time. We will see you next week. We got some super chats. Wait, Steven, you know what, Damon? I don't care. I know it's late. I know we don't have a lot more to talk about, but let's just throw it to overtime, shall we? Shall we? If you're watching on your favorite app, if you're watching over on Zumo or any of those things, come on over to gophnx.com. We're going to take this one into overtime. I like to call it extra innings. I feel like extra innings makes more sense. The overtime thing looks very hockey-ish, a lot with that little with the red light, the lamp lighting up behind the goal.
Of bad times.
It makes me sad. It's the NHL draft day, right?
What I will say though is, the Coyotes leaving did make me a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Go Peas.
I don't like that.
Back to back.
I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all.
I'm a winner now.
I don't like that. You got your little rat with you somewhere? You little rat? Anyway. All right, let's see. Steven Bananas says, you guys didn't answer if you want a free signed album. Don't be mad at me, LL. Yes, I do want a free signed album. Yes, I'll frame it and put it here in the office. BCSC, or AKA BCOM C Booker. Now, BCOM C Booker.
Yeah, man.
You want to give me some of his super chats there?
Yeah, I'll read them. I'll be the de facto BCSB reader here.
I like making you do that.
I got to get it off my chest. Got injured before playing, in quotes. He cried and passed in front of Booker / now his utopia moved up the street. Let God sort it out. Heartbreaking emoji.
Is he leaving us Suns comments now?
He continues, Katie lip gloss was popping and he couldn't eat. Calm.
All right.
I think that's just saying from be calm.
Oh, okay.
Next one, Booker, take that personal. He wanted to play with you. Let that be clear. See clear. You that man. History _1. Scorer #1 is Bubble Book.
Is BCOM been drinking? These are a little bit all over the place.
BCOM said he was zooted like Snoop at the beginning of those first super chat.
That's right. I forgot.
Zooted
He's
like
zooted.
Snoop.
Yeah.
Man, I take it personal. My God is Devin Armani Booker. He was that.
This is not a Suns show.
Hope
BCSB?
he is that. Hope don't ever get it twisted. Now go argue with the press, Cupcake.
All right, now we got some Diamondback stuff.
Yeah. Katie Hobbs is a Democrat. She was going to sign that dang bill regardless. LOL. She needed it to come to her desk. So be it. So be it.
I want to address that really fast. I mean, I think because today Toy Labolo had talked about the bill, and he said that once it got to Governor Katie Hobbs' desk, that he had all the positivity, or at least all felt like it was a slam dunk at that point. And yeah, I do want to say that I think a lot of people felt the same way. I was glad to see that get signed today. However, it's one of those situations where I think for a lot of people, this bill made all the sense in the world. And then there was still that archaic thinking that I was describing earlier, just a little bit, just that, even though a lot of the pain points that people have with a stadium receiving taxes to fund it, the points that were being made were solid points. And I think there's no better point that could be made other than Maricopa County is the owner of Chase Field, period. So when you want to start debating or talking about, who's responsible or why we as taxpayers in any way are on the hook for this, it's because our county owns it. That's why it's a publicly owned building. And that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. All right. We got one more from BCOM.
One more says, be calm, see clearly, Dbacks, we gonna be all right.
There it is.
I mean, if that doesn't make you feel better.
If that doesn't make you feel better, nothing will ever make you feel. Nothing I can say is going to make you feel better.
I can sleep at night.
If that doesn't make you feel better. And apparently BCSC has a wild backstory that he told on the Sun show. I won't lie, I'm a little disappointed we haven't heard it on this show.
That's my goat for real, though.
Yeah. Maze Devil says, I would pay more taxes to keep the D-backs here. God bless you, Maze Devil. And that's probably how a lot of people that watch this team feel. And to be fair, no taxpayer is actually going to pay more, right? No taxpayer, you're just going to go buy stuff like you normally would. You're going to get yourself a Versus dog. You're going to go get yourself a churro dog. You're going to go into the team shop, get yourself a jersey, which, by the way, there are not a lot of jerseys left. Those Serpientes jerseys are hot. That Serpientes gear selling out. And it's a good thing, by the way. I don't want it to be perceived as like the Diamondbacks aren't keeping enough stock. They are trying to keep enough Serpientes gear in stock. You people keep going and buying it. It's like a barbecue place that has to close at 3 because they're all out of brisket. It's a good thing when they sell out because it just goes to show how popular this Serpientes gear is and what a great job they did with all of the merch. Like it warms my heart to walk into that team shop at Chase Field and see so much purple. So I really do love to see it, and I'm glad so many people are buying so much stuff. I mean, again, even opposing fans are walking out of that team shop with Serpientes gear. Nobody can get away from it. And to be fair, I also saw a lot of the Miami Marlins City Connect stuff tonight. Like a lot of their personnel that was in like the press box and around were wearing like polo shirts and stuff with their City Connect logo on it. It was hot. It was sharp. I won't lie. That's the only thing I'm going to say positive about the Marlins and nothing else. But yeah, Steven says beer pong at the pool. You're on. We'll figure it out for sure. But do appreciate you guys so much. Maze Devil says, bro, where do I get a purple Domo jersey? I can tell you where. You got to go to the team shop. You got to get a blank, and you got to have them make it for you. I believe the only players that they have in stock, if I'm not mistaken, are Marte and Carroll. And everybody else, you have to have a jersey made. Now, the good news...
They should be handing out Perdomo jerseys like hotcakes at Chase Field, man.
Yeah.
They should be promoting the hell out of Perdomo jerseys.
I mean, he's just so marketable right now, and he's so lovable, and people really dig it. What I will say, though, is that having a jersey made does not cost you any more than buying one that's already on the rack with a name on it, at least at the team shop. So you can have your own, you can have Mayor put on the back, though, but don't do that. I already have one of those. There's only one of those.
If you do that, it doesn't count. It's not real.
You're not a real mayor.
It's not authentic.
You can't just call yourself a mayor and make it a thing. That's not how it works.
Yeah,
right?
That's not how it works at all.
You can't just go tell people to call you the mayor of something and then have it be a thing that people are supposed to respect and do. But yeah, go get yourself a jersey. Go get yourself a Perdomo one. And yeah, no, Damon is right again. Elise and Damon are just... You guys are just too... I don't like it. I don't like how much you guys are agreeing, but again...
That's all the time. Me and Elisa are just
simpatico. That was the word I was looking for.
Oh,
simpatico. Yeah. You want to read that one more? BCSC. BCSC, we love you. Thank you so much for your support and your super chats.
BCSB says, he ain't solid. He all nimble like an ant. Not to rant. Just a pissant. Squashed by a book on the dev. So be it. So be it.
So is
Go
he
Dbacks.
Is he rapping?
Blazes up, man.
Is he rapping? I think he's rapping.
I think those were bars.
I think he's zooted. Is what we figured out. I just learned what that term meant recently. So, hey, good for me. Now, again, I'm old, but not old enough to have a 14-year-old daughter, according to Randall Gritchick. So thank God for some people. Thank God for some of you. But Gert Jr. says it's time to start tanking. It's past your bedtime. You need to go back to sleep. You need to get your dad is tired. He's
You're like
very tired.
2 months old, man.
It's crazy. But anyway, we appreciate all of you guys for your chats. We appreciate you hanging out this late with us. Thank you so much. We will be back on Monday, of course, with another Mailbag Monday episode. I'm doing a little staycation at Gila River this weekend.
Wow.
Talk
that's
about free ad
huge.
It's huge.
That's not a free ad.
It's not. Yeah, no, it's a paid for ad. But I will be definitely just. I have a daughter, and I have to do everything I can. Once again, 14-year-old. I have to do everything I can to entertain her, and it's not easy during the summer. So
your daughter will be joining.
Yes, but
it's a family staycation.
She just wants to stay in the room. She wants us to go down and get down on the slots, and she wants us to leave her alone.
What's on the agenda for you guys? Are you guys going to hit up one of the fine restaurants that they have there?
Restaurant action, a little bit of spinning colors and numbers.
Maybe some Ashula Steakhouse. My parents had the Chinese place. Forgive me for forgetting what it's called, but they said it was very good.
Oh yes, I've seen that as well. I also think that Fat Burger might be in somebody's future. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's a great time to go out and hang out by the pool and get a staycation in. So I will be doing that. But of course, you guys have yourselves a wonderful weekend. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. And of course, we are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. thank you guys again for your time. Want you to have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully the Diamondbacks go out there and get the job done and win this series in the next 2. Of course, we will be bringing you updates on Monday on that, as well as whatever lies ahead next week. So make sure to tune in. Of course, until then, have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful evening. Behave yourselves. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when sloppy defense doesn't cost you a game.
We all silly like the mayor.